if you have to cheer for a university here, like in the Nexus Collegiate, what's your pick? What's the best Swedish university? You know.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know if Gothenburg are playing, but if they are, I have to rep my boys, you know. But if not, I'm not quite sure. Uh,
Yeah, Gothenburg is not playing. But let's take a look at the bracket. So, like I said in the first quarterfinals, KDHFF, the reigning champions from Sweden, the KDH Royal Institute of Technology, already moved into the semifinals, and they're gonna face off against Tampere University, who won 2-1 against Leo Esports and Lund University yesterday, and that will be a replay of the final from last season when KTHFF took home everything against Tampere University. Now, today, we're going to watch Paragon from University of Exeter and B2INT Uppsala University from Uppsala University. In Paragon, lineup top lane, we have Ken Jingwa from UK, we have Snepix from Portugal, we have Tima Topper from Hong Kong, last from Portugal, and then Zach from Great Britain. Moving over to B2U INT. We have Guves top lane, known in the Swedish Online League, playing top lane for Lundqvist Darkside. We have Nord playing jungle for Int Esports in Division 1. Folström playing mid for Int Esports in Division 1. Static playing ADC for Int in Division 1. And then we have Dinova coach for Bardicted to U Division 2. So a lot of known names here for Uppsala University. And last season, they actually got eliminated just before physical playoffs. So now they have the opportunity to somehow break that curse and make it for the first time in their university's history to playoffs here in Nexus Collegiate.
and they do have some really strong players. I mean, Nord has had a fantastic run in the Swedish Online League playoffs. Was an extremely aggressive jungler who really carried his team on his back in a lot of the games. And Forslund is no slouch either. Has also played extremely well on his mages mainly, but yeah, a really solid player. And also a really smart player, honestly. Really knows how to utilize the map movements around the map, and is really keen on playing with his jungler as well. So we'll see if they can really, hit the nail on the mid jungle synergy in this series today.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting game for sure. It's a best of 3, and like we saw yesterday, a lot of good teams here went all the way to game 3, and today we expect at least 3 games. I don't want no 2-game series. That's not fun. I want to see them go all the way. I want to see them show why they're here and why they actually want to go to playoffs, and they need to deserve their spot to do so. A little bit of history. Paragon actually won the NLC RPS, of course not with this exact lineup, but they took home the NLC RPS against Bloodline actually, and Bloodline beat a lot of these players in the Swedish Online League. Just for you guys to understand how good they actually are, they're pretty good, I would say. Yeah, pretty good.
They are pretty good, yeah. They were the favorites coming into the season, and they had a couple of mishaps here because of some difficulties getting their main roster together. But once those issues were fixed, they kind of just steamrolled everything. And some of the players are now here on different rosters in this tournament here. So we'll see if they can carry on that sort of flair they had in the playoffs coming into this tournament. But as you say, we want free games, so let's hope for the best, and let's hope for some quality of League of Legends today.
Okay, taking a look here at the prize pool. This is of course in Swedish crowns. It's a combined amount of 25,000. And to the winners, of course, 10,000 crowns, second place 7,000, and to split if you lose the semifinals, 4,000 crowns each. So that's a nice bunch of money. I like money. Do you like money, Hatten?
I do like money, and I think these players sure do too. But I also think they really like competing. But yeah, high stakes in this playoffs. Obviously, um, this is a higher tier than what me and Sleeper are, used to casting. So there's definitely higher stakes coming into this tournament, and these teams really want to get that hand on the number one prize pool, or the prize of money rather. So I think we're like the players are this might be a lower tournament than what you see at like a professional level, but these players are still really good at what they are doing, and when they really can be unlocked, when they have that incentive to win, you can really see some wonderful stuff, and that's what we're here to highlight. So I think it's going to be an interesting series, and playoffs overall here.
Yeah, it's gonna be premium League of Legends, everyone. It's gonna be the best. With that said, let's move into picks and bans, everyone.
Into the draft we are. The bans have already come out. We see Wei, Gragas, and Lilia banned away from the side of Paragon, and B2INT UU have banned Corky, Carfus, and Caitlyn as well. We are on patch 1 or 14.11 rather. We're not in season 1. So we obviously saw a really, really big change coming into 14.10. We have way too little time to really run down all of the changes here. Yeah, I mean, picks are coming in just left and right here.
Yeah, like the guys, like yesterday, they did pro draft just before, so they picked pretty fast here. They're already picked. Yesterday they picked the wrong order as well. They just picked like in the order they were gonna play. So top lane just picked top lane and jungle and etc. Let's see if they actually pick the complete order they did in pro draft now, so we actually get like some kind of insight how the team actually thought in picks and bans, or if we're just getting a full 5 champion lockdown here. But
I
some
mean,
of them
well,
locked out at least.
yeah, some of them locked out for sure, and Nord is going to be playing his Viego, which really was a menace in the playoffs in the Swedish online league. So he's going to be piloting that as well together with a Jinx. So they have like good scaling, good skirmishing. I wouldn't be surprised if Foshlin picks up his Aurelian Soul either. On the
Mhm.
side of Paragon, though, we see a bit more, mid to late game fighting. They do like, I mean, Renekton and Talia don't have the longest range, but then you have Jin who can sort of facilitate them from the back line. Um, so I mean, the first three picks are sort of trying to, nudge us in the direction that the Finnish comp is actually going to be here.
Yeah, take a look here. I I mean, I love the Twisted Fate pick here because they could potentially go with both top and mid lane. They didn't reveal that much, even though like Paragon already picked potentially top and mid. You don't play Talia jungle anymore, right? That would be like bad.
Yeah, no,
So
it's really
I
it's
as-
really uncommon. Yeah,
I assume they picked top lane and mid lane already, and so the flex is kind of, I don't know. I don't know if they had to do that, but I guess it's Gwen top lane, right? Or it's
yeah.
Viego mid, TF top, and then Gwen jungle.
I mean, that would be crazy, but it is sure a possibility. Um, there is also the possibility of TF support if you'd like.
Yeah, I
Gold
like that.
card can be very oppressive there, but with a Jinx, I think you'd rather have, an Enchanter. And, there haven't been any Enchanters banned, actually, so we might end up seeing that.
Yeah, they're being Yone, Tarek.
Okay.
I like it, but that means it is Talia jungle, right?
Yeah, no, it has to be
Okay, I
Talia
predicted it,
Jungle,
guys.
yeah.
Guys, I'm actually the goat. I'm
He
actually the
redeemed
goat.
himself, he redeemed himself, it's
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
it's fine.
I got. I don't care about the flag, guys. I nailed the picks.
But yeah, I mean, both teams are gonna have their full rosters here. Milio running out the comp from B2INT, so they are going to have that Enchanter paired together with the Jinx, as kind of was expected. The Tarek pick kind of shocks me in a way. I mean, you normally pick Tarek into comps that really want to dive into you, and in some semblance, B2INT kind of want to do that with the Gwen and the Viego, with a stun card on top of that, but at the same time, they can play, with their Jinx, just poking them down. They can play through their TF as well, depending on the kind of build that it goes. Because the issue for Paragon is that they are kind of low range um, in terms of their melees. So between they have a bit of a range advantage, and so I feel like the Taric might be, I don't know, it can be countered easily with like kiting back. What do you think, Sleeper?
I mean, I think they're spicy. I like these picks. I mostly prefer the pick where Talia went jungle and I was correct in my predictions. That's like my most like favorite moment so far in picks and bans. But when it comes to teams, I think it's really even here. I think it's just gonna be a skill matchup straight out because both teams are known to be really good at League of Legends. It's the best players from Seoul Division 2 and some of the best players from Seoul Division 1. They even won Seoul Division 1, some of them. Paragon got second in the UCEL, I think it's called, the British League. And then they got first in the NLC RPS. So these teams will go hard on hard here. They're pretty good. They're pretty good guys. Like I don't even care about the champions. I just want to see them fight all the time.
Yeah,
That's all
no,
I
and
want.
they do have some champions to brawl a lot as well. When you're picking Renekton, when you're picking, Yona, you really want to get those. You do want to get those river skirmishes going as soon as possible. But yeah, no, I mean it is going to be interesting. Both of these team comps, they they have like slightly weird dynamics. We obviously don't have it on the screen right now in front of us, but we'll talk about it more when we get into draft. Um, but yeah, as you say, I'm really excited because both teams, they have really strong players. Maybe players that haven't been actively playing with each other, but they have played a couple of games here already, and I'm sure they've scrimmed with each other. So it it is going to be very very interesting to see.
Yeah, a lot of good players, and they locked out their picks and bans for the first game. It's a best of three, everyone. The winners of this best of three will make it to LAN 20th of June, where they will fight, take home 10,000 crowns, and crown themselves the new champions of Nexus Collegiate. I mean, there's a lot at stake here.
For sure. And into the game we are immediately here. But I mean, let's look at the minimap a bit because we see a pretty standard setup here across the board for the two teams here. Nothing really surprising is going on. I don't really expect to see a sort of late counter invade either with the champions that they have. Um, but I mean, both teams. I feel like it's Paragon who wants to get action rolling as soon as possible, and I feel like B2INT can just kind of scale up a bit. They don't really need to be sucked into fights as much as they would have if they were playing another comp. So I feel like prowess is on like Paragon to make stuff happen in the early to mid game.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. From the scaling perspective, 42 or B2U int will be really, really scary. And I know Static together with Denova, they played a lot together. I'm not sure how much Last and Stack has played together in previous tournaments or scrims and stuff like that. So I don't know about their synergy, but we can expect a lot from Static and Denova.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. And as I highlighted, I'm also really looking at Nord and Forslund to make stuff happen here in the mid jungle duo. As I said, they have been a very formidable opponent in the Swedish online league, but at the same time, Paragon, they have really strong players as well. Obviously came second place in their respective leagues, so we are looking at, a battle of the wits and muscle right here, it feels like.
Top tier players from UK and from Sweden and Hong Kong, guys. Important to keep that in mind, guys. Right now, let's take a look at the junglers. Usually we get some insight in what's about to come on the map. Both junglers right now top side. Snapex though is on a ward. Everyone right now in Sweden knows exactly where they are.
You are not wrong about that. There was a ward, however, on Nord's top side, red, that timed out just a bit earlier. So Paragon, they at least know where he must have started. So if I'm in their shoes right now, I would at least be tracking Nord right now. Maybe not his exact positioning, but I would at least know which quadrant of the map he would be on. But it seems, however, that it might be a bit of a scuttle fight. But
I don't
with
think he spotted Null with that
maybe
actually.
not, no. There might be a bit of a skirmish here. Snipix smites away.
Null wants to find the stun here. Could chain CC together with Forslund, doing a lot of damage to Snapix now. Snapix has flash available. Doesn't matter when you blast cone yourself into certain death. Null over the wall doing a lot of damage, and it looks like 2 easy kills for Sweden coming out clutch.
Really nice play there from Nord, flashing to basically jump himself over with Snipex over the blast cone, manages to pick up the kill, and then Forslund manages to land a nice gold card as well, and then Nord picks up the Soul of Talia, uses the knockback into the Unraveled Earth to land a nice stun onto Tim as well, who goes down. So 2 quick kills over to the side of B2U, and honestly a really nice skirmish against the team who wants to skirmish, so really good start here for the Swedish representatives.
Definitely not the start you were looking for if you are a UK fan. Like we said, late game scales really good for the Swedes. BUU will be able to punish a lot, and starting off the game with 2 kills, not on just any champion either. They get 2 kills on Nord playing Viego. Like Nord is one of the best junglers in Swedish Online League history, and now he's playing one of the easiest champions to snowball, Viego.
And then the question becomes for Paragon, what do you need to do to kind of stop the snowball on the Viego? Because we've seen it time and time again over here in Sweden, how Nord just runs away with the game on his Viego. So it is up to Paragon to try and stop that snowball from happening in the bot lane though.
Yeah, Last is doing a lot of damage, but that's Emilio, guys. You can't kill Emilio. Everybody knows that.
Everybody do know that. He does go down low, but I don't think it will matter that much. On the opposite side, though, Nord might be looking for a gank in the mid lane. At the same time, Guves has leveled the ward.
Timatopper still has his flash, though, but putting himself in an awkward situation. CC once again coming out clutch here for jungle. The synergy between jungle and mid lane for Sweden has been insane. Just stun into gold card. Looks so easy.
Really nice from Tim, holding on to his flash, does not panic. Lets the gold card land before he uses his flash on the Spectral Maw, so really nice patience from him. Doesn't have the TP, unfortunately for him though, so won't be able to get back into lane. So Forslund will have a bit of a tempo advantage. At the same time in top lane, a lot of trading is going on, but with a bit of a lull state here, it seems like Nord is going to be able to pick up the grubs here. So the question is for Paragon, Snipex is on the bottom side of the map, so they might be looking for the dragon here with bot lane pushing as it is.
I mean, normally they just trade objectives, but Nord doesn't have that much left on grubs. Could potentially pass down. Like, they want to drag this game out for as long as possible, and if they can keep this tempo up, I think they're really gonna struggle. Forslund actually has ultimate on his TF as well, so it wouldn't be impossible for them to collapse.
Unfortunately, though, I don't think B2U is really in a position to contest. The wave was bouncing back, but with Snipex already being there and with, you know, Paragon knowing that Nord was on the top side of the map, I feel like it's the smartest decision from B2U to not contest that, just focus on getting a reset on Nord instead. Spend some of his gold and, you know, EXP that it gets. Well, you can't really spend EXP, but he got a lot of EXP from the grubs anyway, so you know, he's going to be feeling happy on his little Viego. Going to see if he can, you know, snowball further. Seems like, is he going for a Bork first? I'm not quite sure. I don't think Heartbound Axe really builds into Bork, but it is going to be interesting to see which first item he actually ends up picking up.
Yeah, but Forslund picking up Boots of Swiftness as first item to get extra mobility and poke him out, and we can actually see a lot of that in the early stages of the game, because right now it's almost impossible for Timatopper to get in on Forslund. He's just running around picking cards at random and throwing them in his face.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't really normally think of TF as an oppressive laner, but really nice itemization here, I must say. You know, as you mentioned, picking up the Boots of Swiftness to be able to run around, you know, sort of ring around the Rosie against this Viego and just poke him out with card after card after card. It is a solid game plan, but he does push very hard, and if Snipex comes around, it can be difficult for him to get out. Might be forced to burn a flash, so at the same time, though, Nord.
Yeah, Nord is really, really strong. I think he might have overstepped there, as Forslund has used his ultimate to come in here. That means Zac can join the fight as well. But somehow, they actually get out of that situation. Have Denova now. Zac using ultimate quite early here in this fight. As I can't say that name, by the way, guys. But he picks up Nord. That was really clutch by him. Zac now will probably fall to Ignite. Will not do so as he heals up at last second. And Paragon looking for yet another kill on Denova. But they have to settle for the 2 kills they got. And I mean, what a way to get back into the game.
What a way indeed. Really nice play there from Paragon. Manages to kite away from BTU. Forslund manages to not deal enough damage to take down who was a Snapex immediately. So Kenjingua can roam down from top lane, manages to pop his Dominus and does a lot of damage in the team fight. And Nord wanting to get that finishing kill, uses his ultimate, is forced to flash out immediately, so can't land that finishing blow, and then Zac just survives on a sliver of HP, so really unfortunate, but here in the top lane.
Guva's actually moving really well here. Drag it out so Nord can enter. Reset possible for Nord as Guves tries to stay alive, cannot do so. And that means, ladies and gentlemen, we have another kill on Nord. We have another kill on Guves. I mean, they're doing really well here in the early game. We have seen what Paragon can do when they actually execute perfectly.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate here. We're gonna check the replay. Guves, really nice, stalling here. Manages to not get stunned immediately. And, with the Conqueror manages to survive a lot of the lifesteal that he gets from that rune as well. So Nord is there at the right place at the right time, manages to pick up a straggler in Kenjingua. And as you say, picks up another kill, picks up the Kraken Slayer in base as well. So, I mean, Paragon went from a really nice play on the overextension, punishing that in the topside river to then, unfortunately getting a 2-for-1 in a dive. So B2U still sitting at roughly a 1.5k gold lead. It is not insurmountable, but it is very strong, at least at this stage of the game. So Paragon, they still have a bit more work to do in this game.
I mean, Kenji picked up another kill as well, has picked up that Eclipse. So really, really strong in top lane. Guva's going in for this fight, but it just looks like Kenji is just way too strong at the moment. This Crocodile is not something you want to play around with.
Guves does have TP though. Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate there, but mid lane though, Nord might be looking for something. He is on a ward though, and Zac is there. I don't think you want this fight at all.
I mean, that's kind of awkward, just standing there on a ward. Everybody knows where you are. There's 4 members top lane for Paragon. They could just easily collapse on him. Then he activates his sweeper. And teleport actually coming in from Guves as they contest 1 grub. They get 1 grub.
They want to force down.
With the flash, looking for CC. Snapex is not tanky enough to withstand the damage of 3 members from BUU. And that means yet another kill. 4-6 now after 11:30 played.
Oh, but mid lane though?
Come on, guys. Okay, Forslund once again on Team of Topper. Support mid lane versus each other. And I mean, it's pretty even, guys. We'll see. They might fight again. That would be fun.
No, but it is quite impressive how they managed to wrestle back control here, and I think that Snapex, takes that step a bit too far forward, and Forslund with the Shurelias can flash and run him down, so they managed to pick up a kill there, traded for 2 grubs on the side of Paragon though, so it is not quite the trade that you really want in that situation. A bit of an overextension from Snapex, but they do get that TF flash, which can be quite valuable, and on the back of that play, they're also going to be able to pick up their second Drake.
Like, I'm loving the items on Forslund right now. This guy is just... he's cooking, guys. Like, he's cooking. The movement speed coming out from that guy is just a running stun card right now. Big fight is top lane once again as Guves gets chunked out. Both players so aggressive up here. But right now, advantage is for Kenji, of course.
And we're gonna see here, it is roughly a 2.5k gold lead for the side of BTU now. So they have grown that quite a bit, but on the same side though, on Paragon's side, they do have 2 Drakes. Obviously, it adds up to a bit of gold as well. Maybe not to make it completely even, but again, it is not quite insurmountable. I'm looking at the next couple of fights, perhaps around the Herald or the next Dragon, where BTU, they want to stop the Dragon stacking from continuing, and the question is, which champions are going to have hit their power spikes? We're still waiting for Yone to hit his power spike. We're still waiting for, Jinx to be able to pick up a couple of more items, for TF to be able to get up, rapid fire cannon under his belt as well. If he actually does go that route, it's not completely sure, but yeah, it is going to come down to item power spikes and what you can do in the setup. And speaking of setup, BTU are kind of looking for perhaps a dive top lane, but without a wave, they're going to think twice about it. They're gonna try and
I mean,
proxy here, so Kenji might be in trouble.
I mean, they need to tame this crocodile. They need to tame him into a little lacrosse shoe, you know? Put him on
Like
a
Steve
shoe,
Irvin.
stick him, just like, don't let him. Yeah, exactly. Steve Irvin, him, like, just make him a pet.
Oh, but
Right now he's unstoppable. Once again, we see BUU perfect there with the stun card. Guvis cannot move forward because SnapX. I mean, it is a good counter pick. They have a lot of dashes in BUU, and as soon as SnapX is there, they're really gonna struggle to get these initiations. It's basically just Voslund who can run around with that stun card to set it up.
Yeah, for sure. Dynova is overstunned with it, don't maybe?
That was a beautiful side step.
He is going to be safe, but yeah, I mean, there is going to be a trade of flashes on the side of the junglers here. BTU, you could clearly see that the call was the back off. Nice sidestep. But here they might fight actually. Forslund is looking for someone.
Yeah, no, the first one. That chain CC once. It looks so easy, man. It looks way too easy.
Top lane though.
Yeah, Guvis has just fought. And Forslund.
Oh.
That's not legal, guys. That's not legal. I mean, if you're fighting that, they had a deal, okay? If you fight 1 versus 1 in top lane and you're both at 100 HP, you do not interfere. Forslund just coming in with a stun card, be like, yeah, guys, I'll take this kill. I mean, that's just disgusting. Forslund,
Yeah,
no respect.
I mean, nice use of the Destiny there from the side of Forslund. Normally they're looking for Tim in mid lane though.
Yeah, Tapa has used his ultimate to get out. Doesn't really matter when they have a lot of damage coming out. I mean, if Zach wasn't mid lane,
Jinx
like
Rocket, Jinx Rocket!
90% of the game,
Oh,
that's close, that's close, that's close.
Very close.
Zach is basically just like living next to Matapa in this game.
Yeah, it is a bit of a hard knock life to be a support in this game, but I mean BTU, they're really just playing by the mentality of, you know, divide and conquer. They split Sepex and Tim apart and just manages to dive onto that jungle. And you know, we can really see the mid jungle synergy coming to fruition. Nord and Forslund, just an absolutely deadly duo here in this game, just locking down Sepex pick after pick. And then obviously Forslund uses that Destiny to get up into top lane to kill Kenji, who Guves got very, very low, as we saw in the picture-by-picture. So BTU, they're still extending their lead, still playing very smart around timers, around map movements as well. So I want to see from Paragon, they need to stop the bleeding here. They need to play smart around their own side of the map, because it feels like they're just playing around fog in a very poor way, not really respecting vision, and BTU, they really punish that very hard.
I mean, talking about bleeding, like, if you're gonna stop this bleeding, you need like 4 tourniquets, because this is like arteries all over the place. They have not been able to create anything on the map since they made that decent play earlier in mid lane. I mean, it's just BUU all over the map, and we talked about this late game will be devastating for UK. They will not be able to stop it. So right now, just like you said, they need to do something. I mean, the alligator is strong, or crocodile, or whatever you want to call him. Use him. Do something.
And I think it kind of comes back to draft as well. You know, I raised some questions about the Taric. Is it the best pick in this situation? And it hasn't had the maximum amount of, you know, value. I feel like you'd much rather have a sort of engaged type of support. And BTU in this situation, they are gonna drop a tower in the top lane for their first dragon, managing to, you know, stop that dragon stacking from the side of Paragon, which honestly in this situation is kind of their only win con. Now they're gonna try and pound some laps in mid lane.
Yeah, let's see if they can hit the chain CC. They cannot. Just a bunch of damage coming out to last. He looked really comfortable there. I respect that. Jin, like, not really caring, not using a single summon as well. He was like, I can probably tank this, and he could.
He could, but that's also much thanks to the exhaust though. Top laners might be trying for another brawl here, but, you know, just gonna respect each other. So, I mean, BTU, they're trying for a sort of push onto this mid lane tier 1 by having Guves in the bot lane and, you know, shoving down mid lane together with Nord, but Lostbed and Sack, they are holding strong still, and there's no objectives on the map, so Paragon, they have a moment to breathe, and it is up to BTU to take a reset to set up the map for the next couple of plays, because Baron is spawning in 1 minute, hard to take on a 20-minute mark, but obviously something you can set up for later. But the big point of contention is obviously going to be that Mountain Drake.
I think they could actually go for a Baron on the 20-minute mark. Look at the champions, man. It's Gwen, Viego, TF, and Jinx with Emilio. I think they could chunk that out.
You know, fair points. They have a lot of damage.
They're gonna do a lot of damage. I think they have to respect that as well. And I mean, right now they can relax a little bit in Paragon because they're still scaling in BUU. But as soon as Forslund gets that fire cannon, I mean, you're never safe. Last is not even playing cleanse. Like, if you get hit by a stun card, you're done.
Yeah, no, you kind of have to pay the Quicksilver stash, you know, tax. Unless Zach goes for a Mikhail's, but you know, that is an expensive item for a support, and I don't think he's gonna be able to afford a second item unless this game goes on for long. But by that point, I mean, we talked about it, BTU are gonna have scaled, and Paragon, they are lacking engage. I think they're kind of hoping for Yone to land a nice ultimate onto multiple people, and then for Jin to follow up with his curtain call, but it is a very difficult comp to play out, you know, optimally. Well, I feel like BTU, they can just press some buttons, dish out that damage that they need, and just, you know, find pick after pick. So Paragon, I don't want to say it's like over, but you are staring down the barrel of a 6k deficit, and I think in the back of their heads they're trying to think about, you know, what can we adapt for the next draft, because I don't think this is it.
Yeah, we see Kenji trying to do something mid lane. Snapix also hovering as Herald has been spawned by BUU. Should be a pretty easy secure here. Nobody actually cares. Like, they're just, everyone's just hovering like, oh yeah, I think they get turrets.
It's hard to really do anything in that situation too. Kenji might be in a bit of trouble though if Forslund manages to get there in time, but at the same time though, Dynova takes a bit of heat here. Current call is going to be popped.
Fancy feet on Dunova. Will stay alive.
And the turret in the top lane is going to fall as well. So all in all, a successful push from BTU's side. And they are trying to, again, set out the map for that sort of Baron call, which we are, you know, expecting very soon. They are shoving down the mid lane, the bot lane, and the top lane. I think they're going to go for Resetter, but
Team Topper will get assistance from Snapx. Guves, though, being really fancy with his damage, doing a lot of it. And now Team Topper moves in on Guves, who cannot secure the kill. Snapx coming in clutch here, killing off the demonic top laner in BUU.
Oh,
Static.
Rocket! Oh!
That's really close.
Oh, that was nearly prey arrow level of pick, but yeah, nice try there from Static, but Guves really close on getting a double kill in that situation. Actually manages to dash out of the Fate Unsealed from Tim, but it was too little too late.
I mean, this is just bullying. I mean, when Static just stands with the Nova, last is trying to run away, has like 200 range, and just shooting him down. I mean, it's like, what could you do?
And I mean, they have definitely hit the power spikes that we were talking about. Forslund has the rapid fire cannon, Static has the Infinity Edge too, but now Paragon might be trying to set up for something.
Oh, good pick here. Snapx going down really low, but Nord actually ulting in without seeing anything. Quick pick up here on Snapx though. No smite available for Paragon. That should mean they're trying to get out. Zack going down really low. Forslund once again good with the slow card, and Nord picking up that kill. Right now it's just BUU for, like, what could they do in Paragon?
Yeah, no, I'm sitting there asking the same question. Like, the setup looked good, but they just lacked the engage. You're hoping for Talia to land her combo, but the second that combo misses, hang on though, Guves.
Guves alone fighting for Dragon, fighting for his life. He's doing pretty well for being alone versus 3, and they will probably lose Dragon here. But Baron power play will still go over to BUU Uppsala University.
Yeah, I think you trade a Gwen for a Baron any day of the week, and you know, Paragon, sure, they do have the Dragon Soul point, but if BTU can knock down that mid tier 2 and the bot tier 2, I mean, it's gonna be really hard for Paragon to really step outside of their own base and do, much of anything. So yes, you have 3 dragons, but are you ever gonna be able to contest another one is the question. The gold lead is sitting at 9k in the deficit, and again, it is really dire, but if there is any hope at the end of the tunnel, it is that, Yone, Tim has been playing well. He has been hitting his ultimates, comboing and stringing together combos in a very nice fashion. So I don't know if we can, really check individual gold. We might be able to thanks to production, but at the same time, though, Kenji might be caught out here. But I mean, yeah, it feels like Tim is really, the last. Oh, thank you very much, production. Actually, yeah, no, the closest gold is really in the top lane and the bottom lane, but I feel like Renekton and Jhin can't really do much individually to swing things around. I really just feel like it's either Snapback or Tim landing a miracle combo or a miracle ultimate that could give them a chance of winning a team fight.
Yeah, like you said, the only actual initiation they have is Topper, and he's been good, and that just makes it even more sad how little they have been able to win fights, even though he's playing as good as he is. It's just back to the drawing board for Paragon when it comes to Pixel Mouse, I guess. The game's not over, but I mean, gold lead is 10k. It's really difficult to get back into the game.
Yeah, but I mean, if this ends soon, I'm very hopeful for next game. I mean, Paragon, they have shown strengths in this game. They have shown a great individual strength as well in some of their laners. I feel like, as we have said time and time again, the main issue is the comp, and I feel like, can they be on a better comp? I think they can do really great stuff. So, but obviously the game is not over until the Nexus falls. And while it is looking dire right now, I have seen teams getting back from a 13k deficit, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, good siege in bot lane. Tower should fall at any moment now. And moving up, Guves staying in mid lane. Actually attracting some attention from Topper as it's a step up from Folslund. Somehow stays alive longer than expected. Now Topper doing a lot of damage in the backline as Nord is very alone. Has to move back into his team, and then Static can start helping him with that damage. Guves is really strong now. 4 members still standing, killing off 3, and it looks like game for Sweden.
It might be Kenji is gonna try and do his best to clear out the wave here. Actually manages. Oh, no, that was just a pick up there from Tim because this fight has been going on for so long. But yeah, with Kenji going down, they don't have a wave for actually quite a bit. So if Snapback manages to respawn, this game might go on. But it is still.
I have a hard time seeing how bigger.
I mean, yeah, I am grasping for straws here. I'll be honest, Zzleeper. Yeah, seems like the Nexus is going to fall. So game 1 will go to BTU. A beautiful showing from the Swedish representatives.
I mean, like I said, these players are top-notch players from each country. They are really good. But when picks and bans get as dominant as it was in this game, it doesn't really matter if you're Challenger or Iron. Like, you will run them over because at some point you just outscale them. And if you win early game as well, it's just gonna look like a stomp, even though the players are way better than they looked in this game.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like draft was the glaring issue. I also think that Paragon, they kind of dropped the ball a couple of times in the early game, getting caught out, specifically Sepex in his own jungle a couple of times. But I feel like BTU, after dropping the ball slightly in the or before the Krugs play, they managed to get it back with the tower dive, and Nord getting a couple of kills on his Viego is obviously a very dangerous prospect and showed once again why he is a very formidable jungle.
Well, Uppsala University showed us a lot of good picks they can play in the next game. There is only 3 bans available for UK. Let's see what they can do in game 2. We're gonna take a little break. When we get back, game 2, to see who makes it to LAN 20th of June.